devotees, and he's coming to destroy the evil. So he doesn't preach, although he speaks Bhagavad Gita to his friend Arjuna, and he speaks many words of wisdom, but really the preaching work is the preaching work of devotees. Therefore, Paritanaya Sadhunam, to inspire the devotees, Vinasha Chadushkritam, to establish the religion. And normally, if Lord wants to preach his glories, he gives this job to devotees. That's why we have so many great saints, so many great acharyas. They're the Shakti of Supreme Lord, and they're preaching the glories of Supreme Lord. And in this case, they have more power than Lord himself, because Krishna himself cannot give Krishna, but devotee can give Krishna. Therefore, after Mahaprabhu revealed his divine pastimes in this world and established the highest principles of devotion in Kali Yuga, for most people, word prema would not even make sense, because it's a whole Vedic knowledge which people lost. And Vedavyas been warned by Narada. He said, people will be lost in Vedic knowledge. So even if they will practice some kind of religion, but they will not really get it, what it is. So then Lord has to take form of Mahaprabhu and descend himself for two reasons, Antaranga and Bahiranga. Number one, to test the taste of devotion. The sugar wants to taste the sugar sweet, how sweet he is. And second of all, is to save, liberate fallen souls, lost souls of Kali Yuga, the sinful souls of Kali Yuga. So therefore, Mahaprabhu descend with Panchatattva, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Advaita Gadadhara, Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinod. Out of Panchatattva, 3 Prabhu, 1 Mahaprabhu, 2 other Prabhu, Advaita Nitai, expansion of Sankarshan and Mahasankarshan and Baladev as Advaita Nityananda, and Srivas Thakur as Narada, and finally Gadadhar Pandit as Radharani. So it's very interesting that Krishna is expanded with different forms of Guru Tattva, because Nityananda Prabhu is Guru Tattva, but his expansion is Advaita, also Guru Tattva. His expansion of Narada, also Guru Tattva. His expansion of Gadadhar Pandit, also Guru Tattva. So it's an amazing one Krishna and so much of his expansion Guru Tattva. And another important, interesting thing is that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was named Bimala Prasad. And for those who does not know a little bit of a story of that Bimala Devi, there's a very famous story where Narada reaching Vaikuntha and receiving direct darshan of Lord and asking for the boon of his Mahaprasad, and the Lord refused him. The Lord said, no, I cannot give you Mahaprasad. I'm not in charge of my own Mahaprasad. I'm sorry. I'm not in charge of Prasad. Then Lakshmi Devi, she's very kind and merciful. She called Narada and she said, really, when Lord offers something, it's Prasad. But when it's taken by devotees, it's Mahaprasad. So I'm sharing with you something that's been taken by the Lord, and now you, by tasting this, the taste will increase. So Narada, with his increased taste of Prasad, become Mahaprasad, and he's going crazy, and he go down to Kailas, meeting with Shiva and trying to share with him Mahaprasad. And even more taste coming with lips of Lord Shiva, and then together they're singing the glories of Sri Narayana, of Mahaprasad, and Parvati addressing them. They said, hey, why are you so ecstatic? And they say, well, we are tasting Prasad of Lord, and we're so ecstatic. So the Parvati, Maya Devi, she said, I am promising if I would get any Mahaprasad, because you're not giving to me, you're not sharing with others, that Mahaprasad I would share with everyone. And Narada and Shiva say, how can you take little Prasad and share with everyone? Is that possible? And then Lord Narayana appeared and he said, yes, it is possible. The Parvati Devi, the Maya Devi, Yoga Maya, she's so great. She's thinking of others. Then there's different ways to share my Mahaprasad. One of the way, I will come in Nilachal as Jagannath, and everybody will be relish my Prasad. And then my prasad will be offered to Bimala Devi, to Maya Devi, and after that, that become even more great as Mahaprasad. That's why the Jagannath Pandas, they call Jagannath Prasad, and what has been offered to Bimala Devi is Mahaprasad. So that is a special blessing he gave to Bimala Devi, that whatever will be offered to Jagannath will be relished by Bimala, and Bimala will distribute to everyone. But he said also, although the material world has limitations, there's no limitations with Krishna Katha and Krishna Nam. Like prasadam, maybe sometimes available, maybe sometimes not available. Maybe dry prasadam possible to take out, maybe not possible to take out. But Krishna name, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That holy name of Krishna is not different than Krishna. And when devotees relish this holy name of Krishna, become even more sweet and even more powerful, it is Mahaprasad. So it's called Maha Mantra. Then everybody was so ecstatic and seeing how much Lord is sweet, how much power Lord have, how much mercy he has. He's appearing as Jagannath, and even in Kali Yuga, giving the darshan to supreme people, to Supreme Lord. Then he appeared in holy name, he appeared in form of his devotees. So Supreme Lord is giving blessing and unique blessing by covering all. So that name of Bimala Prasad has been given to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur when he born in Bhaktivinod Thakur's family. Bhaktivinod Thakur had 9 children. So, and the senior daughters and children. But Bhaktivinod Thakur always prayed to Lord. He said, give me one ray of Vishnu, one piece of sunlight. Just Krishna is the sun, just one sunshine. The light of sun is enough to highlight the whole world. That was the prayer of Bhaktivinod Thakur. He prayed to Supreme Lord, please send your great devotee. And Lord, out of mercy and love and compassion to Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur's mood of devotion, send one of his own men to help him to spread Krishna consciousness. Therefore, when Saraswati Thakur was born, he revealed extraordinary skills as he born with a Brahman thread all over his neck as a navel cord. He showed that I am, although not born in the family of Brahmana, because Bhaktivinod was Kayasta, kind of like a Vaishya, but I have all the qualities of Brahmana. And in very childhood, they try to test the certain ritual of giving the grain. They also offer to the baby, gold coins and different things which show what is the inner tendency of the child. If he will grab the gold coins, or he grab the books, or he grab the medical, what will be his natural intention from his previous life, from his samskara. So Bhaktivinod Thakur did this procedure, but he put Srimad Bhagavatam on the side. So without doubt, Saraswati Thakur immediately claimed to the Bhagavat. He didn't go for the gold coins, he didn't go for the sweets, he didn't go for other things. He just immediately accepted Srimad Bhagavatam. And when the wife of Bhagavati Devi, Bhaktivinod Thakur, brought a auspicious child to show that child to Jagannath, immediately she claimed up to Jagannath Ratha Yatra. Immediately Jagannath, the child, embraced feet of Lord Jagannath. And out of deep appreciation and deep inner happiness and fulfillment, Sri Jagannath dropped one of his great garlands on the baby. And more than that, this Ratha Yatra cart stayed more than 3 days by Bhaktivinod Thakur house. So that, he's born in February, and Jagannath Ratha Yatra in July, we can say 4 or 5 months, 5-6 months, half of the year. So normally you don't go with baby to temple. So Jagannath himself came by the house of Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur to bless the baby. And it says the son of Saraswati Thakur raised in Puri and descend in Navadvip. So then Saraswati Thakur, being such a great personality from very childhood revealed unique, extraordinary qualities. He was a book editor of his own father. Even in the school, he would read Narottam Das Thakur poetry and didn't pay so much attention to the class. But when the class teacher would say, "Why are you not paying attention? Why are you reading out a book?" he would just close the book of Narottam Das Thakur and resign all the class matters in a minute. Then he could do at the same time multitask. But anyway, Srila Goswami Maharaj came, and one thing we will say that it is our fortune today that we're all here because of him. His great mood of surrender, spirit of preaching, which is a unique combination, which you can meet even in the great spiritual saints, because mostly saints have a humble nature and they're not insisting to push their ideas to others. But Saraswati Thakur not only insists to push his ideas to others, he declared totalitarian war to all the misconceptions and become brave general of Supreme Lord, carry message of Mahaprabhu through the world. So now I'm passing, with respect, my a speaker stick to Srila Goswami Maharaj, who happily arrived and preparing for delivering the speech. My Dandavat Maharaj to you. And I humbly try to use the time gap to say a few words about the great Saraswati.
Jai Srila Bhakti Bimala Avadhut Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Srila Vijay Raman Prabhu ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Madhacharya Brinda ki Jai. Jai Saparikar Sri Guru Gauranga Radha Govinda Sundar Jiu ki Jai. Shri Giriraj Govardhan ki Jai. Jai Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Thakur, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. Bhagavan Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. Jai Srila Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. Jai Go Premanandi. As I assume many other pranams have been said, and I just like to say that Srila Guru Maharaj, through him, we can have a proper conception of Srila Saraswati Thakur. Everybody knows it. And so, in Sri Gaudiya Math, after the disappearance of Srila Saraswati Thakur, Srila Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, Babaji Maharaj never stays in one place for too long. So, and remember, he just has the Babaji, the top, and the mala. And we always know he's coming in, Hare Krishna, coming down the road, mouth in perpetual motion of Krishna Nam. So he goes around all the temples, and everyone knows his singing abilities, slokas, everything. But so they always pay attention to what he sings. And he sings slokas from Srila Guru Maharaj. So just for a comparative analysis, we know, if we heard some godbrother was visiting different temples and he sings slokas from one of our godbrothers or songs written by one of our godbrothers, that's a little difficult to digest. We go, Prabhu, I think I will just stay with the standards, with all due respect. But that's not the reception. Instead, they're all like, Babaji, like when they hear pranamami, sada, prabhupada-padam, those verses, they start singing them in every temple in the Gaudiya Math. They may have their own opinion about Sridhar Maharaj or this, that, or the other thing. They all know that song and sing that song. Because Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, each time he goes to the temple, that's what he's saying, Ati kamala kanchana dirgatanum tanum nindita he mamre nala madanar buddha bandita chandrapadam. And then it says madanar buddha bandita, that 10 million cupids are offering praise to, like, we can't compete with this, the beauty, and how his lotus face looks, every part of his body, like, of course, they're all going to sing this. And they may say, well, I really feel preaching should be this way and not that way. And, you know, that's okay. You can have different emphasis. Bhaktivinod had one idea, Saraswati Thakur, you know, same, but different. So Babaji Maharaj, same, but different. He told Saraswati Thakur not to go to Calcutta. Like he's saying, Prabhu, Calcutta is Maya. Don't go. Calcutta is the heart of Maya. There's something else they used to say about it, but I don't think I can say. It's about the location of a particular body part, but on the backside. So he's saying, don't go there, stay in the Dham. You can't, Calcutta is horrible. The stench of the mentality of those people. I'd rather live next to a shit house than have to smell their minds. That's what he said. He said, Stool, you can, you know, that's externally objective. He said, how can you stand the stench of their mentality? That he could, so he says, stay with me in the Dham. And here's his guru. So you're supposed to go, yes, sir, consider it done. But what does Saraswati Thakur say very sweetly? He said, oh, you don't know. I have so much faith in the purifying power of the dust of your holy lotus feet. I can liberate millions of Calcuttas. And if, as you say, Calcutta is the center of hell, what better place to establish a throne for Mahaprabhu and Radha Govinda? So it's a sweet disagreement, right? His guru, he's disagreeing, but in a very beautiful way. Because everyone must have a guru, and everyone does, but there are certain souls who descend in this world really not required. They already have their guru in the upper world and all that. But to not mislead, everyone doesn't know that. So they're showing by example, must accept a guru. So Bhaktivinod Thakur took initiation from a Sahajiya guru, demonstrating that one must, you know, take initiation from a guru. Because once we were young in Calcutta, 1973, 74, this disciple of Lalita Prasad, his like successor, but he was still there. He was a good singer and could, let's just say for the just sake of brevity, let's say he could sing the songs of Bhaktivinod Thakur the way they were intended to be sung, those melodies and a particular style. So this caught the interest of myself and some other devotees who were kind of musically inclined. And so he was a postman in Calcutta. So, you know, he agrees and he comes and we're all, you know, I'm 21 years old at the time. And the senior most devotee was Bharadraj, and he was probably like 26 or 27. He's like the old man, you know. He's married and has a kid. Oh my God, he's like a man. Because we were teenagers, we go like, you know, that guy's a man. Really? We have adults here? Yeah. One guy's like 40. You're kidding. Hope I die before I get old was the code for I want to die before I'm 40. So anyway, I digress. So he comes over and we're like, and he says, referring to Lalita Prasad, he says, I asked my preceptor if it was all right. And he said, if there are young ones, like, that's when the spooky music is on, ooh, you know. And you're like, that's what he said. If there are young ones, meaning like haven't heard stuff about me yet. So he sings these songs, and I'm just saying for the record, like very beautifully. And I believe that from this particular point of view, these were the proper way. Like Bhaktivinod Thakur, remember when he wrote these songs, they were sung in his time. So there was a way they were performed, and he knew that from Bhaktivinod Thakur's brother, Lalita Prasad. It's not, no, the way we do it, that, please, right? Bhaktivinod Thakur, I think his son may have known, may have heard him. So that's why it was of special interest to me. And I know some of them, like, Nitai Chaitanya Bole Natsreyamar Mon, Natsreyamar Mon, Natsreyamar Mon, Natsreyamar Mon, Bole Natsreyamar Mon, Dal Nitai Chaitanya Bole Natsreyamar Mon. Hari Bolo, Hari Bolo, Hari Bolo Baire, Hari Bolo, Hari Bolo, Hari Bolo Baire, Maderuka Deki Re Gauranga Nitai Re, Maderuka Deki re Gauranga Nitai re. Like that. Notice when I like this go. Oh, and then when they do this, Gaura Kripa Hale, Gaura Kripa Hale, Gaura Kripa. It's very beautiful and sung in a group and like. And when I first went to Babaji Maharaj, I had to like make up some reason why I was in front of him and at his lotus feet. And I said, oh, and it was half true. I said, I fear that the authentic way of singing these songs is going to vanish. And that's why I want to record you. But I wanted it anyway. And it will vanish. But that's what I said. I fear that the authentic way of singing these songs is going to vanish. So please let me, and he goes, important thing is that you chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And so I pushed the tape recorder back and we were going like, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. You can hear when I first meet Guru Maharaj, I'm still going, Hare Krishna, Krishna, like, because Babaji Maharaj, and he's listening and like, because he's a little upset, he's unpredictable. And then after like around 4 rounds, he started to lighten up, and then he started going like, then he was like happy about it. And then that's when he said, come, and took us upstairs to the lotus feet of Srila Guru Maharaj, for whom I am eternally grateful. Om Vishnu Pad, Srila Bhakti Rakak, Sridhar Dev Goswami. And perched him, Guru Maharaj in the plantation chair. Babaji Maharaj perched on his shoulder like a suk, a divine parrot, and said, listen! And we listened. And Guru Maharaj said, you must convert yourself into a proper medium. Those are the first words I heard from the lotus mouth of Srila Guru Maharaj. Convert yourself into a proper medium. So at the end of the performance, he says, somehow some talk of like, and he goes, well, it is all by the grace of Thakur Bhaktivinod and his Guru Dev, Vipina Bihari Goswami. Excuse me? Vipina Bihari Goswami, you must be knowing. Who is the Diksha Guru of Bhakti? This is when it starts. Who is the Diksha Guru of Bhaktivinod Thakur? And Bharadwaj, the senior Mustafa, goes, Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. I don't think your Guru Dev has told you everything. This is how it starts. What? What do you say? I thought Jagannath, it doesn't say in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. Just a little bit of doubt. I like to give credit where things come from. In Tinker, Tailor, Soldier, Spy, when the head of the M6 talking about when he meets the head of the cage, the best Russian agent, best British agent, and he's trying to appeal to him. Like, come this way. We'll give you and your wife, and you'll all be protected. Just come to the West. And he had this lighter gift from his wife, and he offered him like Marlboro cigarettes, and the guy pushed the cigarettes away, but he kept the lighter, Carla. He liked and it said, with love, from someone, I keep the lighter. And he says, I tried everything to appeal to him. Come to the West. We'll give you everything. He said, but he's a fanatic. He said, but when someone is an extreme fanatic, and by that I don't mean Gurudev and myself about Guru Maharaj, that's different. So he said, every fanatic is secretly harboring a doubt. And as Guru Maharaj told me, when it comes to understanding certain things, actually most things, he said, faith. I told this to one of my former friends who learned Sanskrit and Bengali, and he drowned in the Viroja River. It's so sad. Guru said, faith is our only access to that plane. Because I was saying, using my this, that, and the other thing, putting together something, and he said, you're going to break your head. Faith is our only access to that plane. And he said, how did he put it? He said, analysis, intelligence creates doubt. Inquiry. So he's saying there's inquiry, and then there's like taking it too far, getting too analytical, too intellectual about it. He said then that creates doubt, and doubt disturbs faith, and faith is our only access to that plane. So I shared that without malice. I thought, if you can't hear something from me, this is what Guru Maharaj told me. When I was getting too analytical, putting things together and figuring out, and you have a dictionary and all of that stuff. And Jiva Goswami and this, and it's all the same. I've been hearing this since that meeting with Lalita Prasad's disciple. Same thing for 50 years. They think it's something new, because it's like they just discovered Jesus. I heard the same exact stuff 50 years ago. No, I'm just doing. And what did Gurudev say? When looking elsewhere in his stuff, he said, that is prostitute. And prostitute cannot publish books in Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Math. And that person saying, I wonder what, I just wish Gurudev was here to tell me what he feels. Oh, he told you. It's prostitution. That's what he feels. He already told you. And that then later, one devotee here, next thing you know, they're in a different current, going away from this line. So it happens. Bhaktivinod Thakur descended to correct it. Because it's a flow. Like Guru said, sometimes it's very wide. Like, what is that river? The Ping River here, Ping. Sometimes it's very wide, and then sometimes it's like this. But it's the same river. So he's saying our lives depend on that current, having access to that current. Wide, you know, but the current of this line from Mahaprabhu, like Guru said, Chaitanya Saraswati to Saraswati Thakur, and what does he say we're a part of? Bhaktivinod Paribar. Bhaktivinod Thakur is our leader, overall leader. Whoever your guru is, if you're Bhaktivinod Thakur is the leader, the uteshvar, the leader of this group. Not your guru, my guru. He's the leader, happily. And Bimala Manjari, he's Kamala Manjari. What do you say? Braja Kanana Bahumana Kamala Priyanayanam Guna Manjari Gorima Guna Haribasana Bayanam. In that kunja, in the spiritual world, the head gopi of this group is Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur, Kamala Manjari. You can't replace that position with someone else because of your sentiments. It's fixed. She is the leader of our group. And her next are Guna Manjari and Bimala Manjari, means Krishnadas Babaji and Saraswati Thakur. You can't like mix and match and no, but he's so, you know, it doesn't work like that. Seva sadaka rupena siddha rupena chatrahi. When it tells you, and in that world, you put yourself under the guidance of it. It doesn't say, and that person, of course, will be the person who gave you harinam, mantra dikshas. It's that person. It doesn't say that. It says you will irresistibly be drawn towards a particular servitor. It's not mentioned who that is. No, but it will always be, you know, and no, that's you. No, mommy. It will always be mommy. Of course it will. You're not going to tell a child, you know, you're going to leave mommy and daddy and hook up with somebody else. No. But they will. But you can't tell that to a 4-year-old. You know, a time will come where you're not going to be with mommy. We're going to be around, but you're going to find your own. No, I will never leave, you know. It doesn't say that. If you read carefully, which Guru Maharaj recommends, you'll see it's not defined. It just says, Brajalok. Brajalok Anusarata. You will follow someone there. But it's also possible you hear, like when the Prabhupada people go to Guru Maharaj and they go, we're waiting for him to come back. Prabhupada said he would come back. You know, I mean, they have like 100 of these things. So Guru Maharaj said, oh, maybe. He said, what is the will of Krishna? He said, you know, it's also possible while you're waiting that Krishna sends someone else to help you. What did Prabhupada say in his talk? When we speak of the fundamental principle of Guru Dev, like Guru Tattva, we speak of something that is of universal application, and thus there does not arise any discriminating my guru from your guru or anybody else's. There's only one guru who appears in an infinity of forms to teach you, me, and all others. If Prabhupada didn't say that, the average ISKCON person would go, that's my Avad. Oh, really? It's in Srila Prabhupada, it's in the database, it's in the book, it's in his address to Srila Saraswati Thakur on his appearance day. Are you sure it's my Avad? There's only one guru who appears in an infinity of forms to teach you and me and all others. Do your homework. So the Guru Maharaj said, oh, he said, but, and he's so kind and generous, I'm not. And then he said to them, seeing their sentiments, he goes, but it's also possible that, see, Krishna wants him to be with him. So probably like, they want me, no, I want you to be with me. Okay, I send another person. Then Guru Maharaj said, then it's possible you come back like, but they won't accept the other person. Then Guru Maharaj said, the Krishna said, all right, you go. But I really want you to be with me. But if, okay, then you go. Guru Maharaj said, that's also possible. So, we're told, Bhaktivinod Thakur, when Guru Maharaj said that legendary Babaji, like when Saraswati Thakur is touring Vrindavan, imagine he tours the whole of Brahmandamandal. What's the kilometers? 74, I mean, it's up there. The full tour, because there are many different parikramas. And that's when he goes, oh, I'm so unfortunate. Like, what happened? He goes, I just circumambulated the whole of Vrindavan and I couldn't find a single Vaishnav. That's Saraswati Thakur. So Guru Maharaj said, our Guru Maharaj's statements were mostly revolutionary. And don't act like this is an easy pill to swallow. It's not. You go, well, what about that nice lady we met at the Banki Bihari temple? Or this, that, or the other thing. Is he dismissing all of them? Contextually, yes. But what do you mean? What Guru Maharaj said? What he means to say, look, he descended in this world from Goloka Vrindavan. That's the quality he's used to. He doesn't find anyone here of that quality. He's not saying no one has, that they're zero. He's not saying that. But it's about quality. Why does Mahaprabhu tell Balabhata when Balabhata, I can explain, Nam Namakari, I can explain all these names, I can go on forever, it'll blow your mind. You want to hear something? Mahaprabhu's, I'm really not capable of that. I know like 2 or 3 names of Krishna. I know like Shyamasundar, Yasodanandan, I forget the third one. So do you really think he only knows 3 names? But what is he saying? There's a particular quality. That's what he was saying, like that you find in Shyamasundar, Yasodanandan, like all these other, I'm sure they're good ones. Sahasra Shirsha, that's cool. 1,000 heads, wow. But Yasodanandan, Yasomati Nandan, Shyamasundar, Rai and Khan. Maybe say Rai Kishori, Kanu Priya. They're nicknames. Radharani is Rai and Krishna is Khan. It's so sweet. They're boyfriend, girlfriend. Those are the nicknames. Rai, where's Rai? She's with Khan. Does her husband know? Nope. When that Abhimanyu, that's all Yogamaya, when Abhimanyu's mother, so she's the mother-in-law running around and goes, you foolish man, your wife, you think she's so, she's with that boy, that lowly cowherd, like right now. And if you don't believe me, you can go see with your own eyes. She's telling Abhimanyu, her Radharani, as Prabhupada would say, so-called husband. So he goes there, and what does he say? Krishna assumes the form of Ma Kali, and what he sees, and Radharani is there doing Kali Puja. And Abhimanyu starts crying. He goes, my wife is so wonderful. How could I doubt her for a moment? Welcome to the Krishna consciousness movement. Welcome to the land of no admission. So why did I say that? Because but course correction. So Bhaktivinod, or what the real people are like. So they're not impressed like with how many rounds somebody chants. It's ridiculous, right? And they go, oh, it says here in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, Mahaprabhu says, today I want to eat at the house of a lakpati, like a millionaire. So he's go, what? Sannyasis should not, like, he goes, no, I don't mean like money. I'm talking about real wealth, like who chants a lakh of Krishna Nam every day, 64 rounds. That's what I'm saying. And in fact, if somebody doesn't, I won't accept anything from them. So they go, see, you have to chant 64 rounds. And they tried this stuff on me too, even because they heard like, I've left ISKCON, they go like, oh, he's ripe for the picking. So they come and see me and tell me all this stuff. I have my own answers. I said, so Mahaprabhu, and Krishna says in the Gita, Patram Pushpam, offer me a love and devotion, leaf flower, I'll accept it. So you're saying Mahaprabhu, who's Patita Pavana, right? He's descended to give mercy to people. He won't accept a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water unless you've chanted 64 rounds. But Krishna, who's almost impossible to deal with, he says, give me love, any one of these things, a little love and affection, and I'll give you a little affection back, probably more than you gave. Because I am infinite, you're finite, it's just the way it works. And so I'm saying, so that doesn't work. So there's got to be something here that we're not catching. So then they leave, and Guru Maharaj is very eager. It's just me and him, Guru, and he goes, like, what did they say? And I go, all right, they did this, and that. And when we get onto this thing, he says, he goes, Ekalakanam means 100,000. He goes, Ekalaka means a particular quality, not just quantity. So like you think Krishna's impressed with some robot machine like, like Prabhupada called it snick. Prabhupada himself said it sounded like snick. And there one of our devotees in London on the bus, and those upper decker bus, and like devotees are going, and she goes, have you got a little birdie in your bag? Because he was this cheapy. You got a little birdie in your bag. So mumbling, if you wanted to be generous, say, mumbling some semblance of Krishna Nam. And we think we deal with all this madness, like first time, like, oh, gee, and Sarah, they didn't have to deal with this stuff. Oh, yeah? So Saraswati Thakur is preaching to somebody, and there's some, the person. They're over there going, Hare Krishna, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, and Saraswati Thakur is like, stop making noise. I'm preaching to this person, Imagine, and his disciple goes, you're making noise. I'm taking Krishna Nam. Oh, really? Right? Kripaya Hari Kirtana Murti. You're telling the Hari Kirtan Murti, right? Whose every movement is dance, every word that ever came out of his mouth is kirtan. And you're telling him he's making noise and you're taking Krishna Nam. So Saraswati Thakur, I couldn't find a single Vaishnava. Everybody's like, what? And they're thinking like, who's a Vaishnava we can say that? Oh, Ramdas Babaji, what about him? Because he's taking 3,300,000 names a day, 192 rounds, reading the books of Rupa Sanatan. If you mention the name Krishna around him, he starts crying. He sits in a chair and he hears kirtan, and tears start pouring out of his eyes, and foam starts coming out of his mouth. And he has a man on the right side wiping the phone away, guy on the left side wiping the tears away, and people come and go, oh my God, this is the real thing. We heard about it. Leave a donation. Yeah. And Guru Maharaj went to see him. I mean, you can imagine, they said, there's this person, if you mention the name Krishna, he starts crying and foaming at the mouth and exhibiting ecstatic symptoms. You know, who's gonna like say, all right, we got 15 minutes time, before our next important engagement begins. Let's go check it out. So Guru Maharaj, he goes there and he says, so in my mind's eye, I see Guru Maharaj, Gurudev, Prabhupada, Saraswati Thakur. And then I look at him. And then I look back at my Guru Maharaj going, oh, what he said. When they mention his name to him, he goes, he's an infant class Vaishnav. An infant. He didn't even say a child. I mean, well, that is. I later used embryo, but he didn't say that. He said infant, like Kanishta. And so Guru Maharaj went to see him, and he's seeing all this stuff, and he's looking at mine, Saraswati Thakur, hearing infant class Vaishnav. And then he looks and the foam's coming out, and they're wiping the tears away. He says, infant class. He's in the infant class. And Guru Maharaj said, then I understood. This man, and he's being generous, by his practices, the 3 lakhs a day, reading the, trying to follow Vaishnava Sadachar, etc. He's trying to elevate himself to that higher plane. And he said, Bhaktivinod Thakur and our Guru Maharaj descended from that plane that he's trying to go up toward. They descended from that world to distribute something here. That's the difference. So Bhaktivinod Thakur, our leader, we're in the Bhaktivinod Parivar. Doesn't mean to dismiss our gurus, not at all, but to understand their superiors. Bhaktivinod Thakur can chastise Saraswati Thakur. Right? Saraswati Thakur can chastise Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj can chastise Gurudev. Gurudev can chastise everybody else. That's how it works. Don't be afraid. Don't, be afraid to admit that we are low. Gurudev said in Petersburg, I was shocked. In front, I think the doors were closed. But people are talking about all this stuff. And Gurudev says, first, realize that you are a worm in a bucket of stool, and then make progress. And there was this funny thing, like this girl who wants to talk to Gurudev, and she comes up and she's saying all this stuff about, like sakis, manjari, like all this kind of stuff, And I'm like, and Gurudev's looking at me, I'm looking at him, like I just wanted to strangle her and throw her down the stairs, which, by the way, Srila did later. You can cut that part. He didn't strangle her. That part is untrue. He said, anyway, she's tough. It wasn't easy, but he took her down. She went downstairs. They went, what do they say, rolling and tumbling? So the door shuts and she's out like, I go like, Maharaj, I don't know how you can tolerate that. And he goes, I was looking at you and you were tolerating because I find it intolerable. I said, no, I thought you were tolerating, so I was tolerating. No, and I went, oh my God. He couldn't tolerate it either, but I wasn't saying anything or doing anything. So he thought, all right, I'm going to, we're going. And then I'm saying, she and Srila Prabhu went rolling and tumbling happily down the stairs. So Bhaktivinod Thakur has all this wealth. Guru Maharaj said like 5 or 7 disciples. That's it. He met, one was a scholar, one was a nice lady, like, you know. And all the wealth of Bhaktivinod Thakur, Guru Dam, Grantadam, Gauradam, Namadam, Buddha, Bhakti Dam, Buddham Bande, Bhaktivinoda Damada. He gave us everything. All the books, revealed Navaditam, the birthplace of Mahaprabhu, all of our songs, reprinted the Bhagavatam, the Chaitanya Charitamrita with proper commentary. Like, he saves the world. Right? But everyone doesn't know that. It's like that saying, the future has arrived, but it's not distributed equally. So it was very much there, wherever he was. He's got Babaji Maharaj listening to the Bhagavatam from him, Saraswati Thakur. And thank you for pointing that out. I think it's like progress in recording. I would rephrase that. So 5 to 7. And there's stories about them. I'm not going to go now, but so the distribution has like 14 children. And just to cut to the chase, Guru Maharaj said 2 of them are serious about Krishna consciousness. Doesn't mean the other aren't wonderful people. You know, one daughter married a travel agent in London. I asked Gurudev, oh, gee, maybe I could stop in and interview her. And Gurudev said, we're not interested in blood connection. I went like, ugh. Sorry, Maharaj, what was I thinking? So 2 are interested. And of the 2, we consider one as Sahajya. So how rare is Krishna consciousness? Kotishvapi Mahamune. So you get Saraswati Thakur, but Saraswati Thakur, he's chanting 3 lakhs a day, but not like because he's an accountant, a numbers person. Samkhya means counting, but because the real way is when you have, you know, Rati, Rag, etc. for the name, you can't stop taking the name of it. You're not forcing, like, I gotta get 6 more rounds done, it's killing me. Like we would always do that. Like when I met Kirti Raj, he needed to make up like 48 rounds. We used to do that, carry them over the next day. And then if you got way behind, go to Mayapur early and like chant for a week. You know? I'm not saying that that's not right. Actually, I am, but I'm just trying to sound like I'm more reasonable. But it's a waste of, you know, it's almost a waste of time. And it's all borderline offensive because you're trying to get something from the holy name, not serve the holy name. That's the problem. The plot of Elmer Fudd, I'm suddenly in that silly wabbit. That's the problem. You know? No, because it's a year of the rabbit. We get rabbits in our brains, you know. And the rabbit in the moon, which they see, and there's shows now how you can see the rabbit in the moon. And we have pictures. So anyway, so why did I say that? Oh, about the chanting. But before that, oh, he's chanting, right. And he has about, he's going to do 1 billion names. And like, I mean, but it's like, this is Das Goswami territory. This isn't mode of ignorance or mode of passion stuff where like, you're going to do something to get something. You know, Guru Maharaj said, first deserve, then desire. So this sort of desire is for the deserving, not the reverse. So and it's a fine line. But it sounds like they're setting goals and stuff. They are, but what is the heart that's setting that goal? That's different. It's like when somebody's in love, they can make up all kinds of stuff too. Right? Every 3rd step, I'm gonna say your name, or you know, like that's different. when you actually love someone. So he's doing that. And that's the most external description of what he's doing. Nam bhajan of this quality is that seva, he's serving in this upper world. So very little awareness of what's going on out here. And then Bhaktivinod Thakur is getting older and say, I need to transfer the seva of the deities to you. Saraswati, oh, not interested, you know, because he knows what's involved with all this. And Bhaktivinod said, oh, you've become a Vishesh body, near Vishesh body, like the worship of the form of, he's teasing him, to worship the form of the Lord is too much trouble. Saraswati Thakur, oh, no, not like that. That's not what I meant. And he's saying, so I need you to do this. Okay, I'll do it. But it means he has to come down to the madhyam position, which means like you deal with everything that everyone else does. That means also desire. You're hungry, you're thirsty. They're willing to do that, to descend to the madhyam position and experience human existence and deal with it. Everything that goes with it. And not be of it, but allow them to, you know, for that to be. And wait for divine inspiration. And he's thinking, maybe you'll have like a kirtan hall, and you can go there and hear Harikatha and kirtan, and have a little prasad, something like that. Because remember, that's the only program, we only have one program. It's kirtan, Krishna Katha, and prasadam. We can call it anything, but that's what we do. And we always do that. And that's how you know whether you're doing something right or wrong. Are those three elements there? If they're there, then it's okay. And they're not, improve. Always want to live within the range of the coquille. He's thinking that kirtan hall, you have Haritala, it designates some place. It's like this. You can go there, have kirtan, but remember, it's not necessarily about Krishna. At that time, I come by the mountain, these guys are like, I mean, these guys are good. They're playing mridungas and singing like, it's unbelievably good. And go by in the rickshaw and make it back. And I say to Gurudev, when I get to his lotus feet, I said, Maharaj, I go, those sahajiyas down the street, they're like blowing the roof off of that place. This is that Gaura Purnima. And he goes, Maharaj, they're not sahajiyas. I go, they're not? He goes, no, they're professionals. Like, they go like I saw McCoy Tyner, the guy who played piano for Coltrane one, and he's playing this song. We're there, like, and he's playing the song. And he goes deep in this solo, and after a while, he says to him, he goes, "What song am I playing?" They go, "Misty," and he goes, "Na, na, na." He didn't remember what he was doing. Like, he was that deep into it. So these guys, they're there. They may also be horticulturalists. You know, they're into gardening, or at least some of the plants that you could grow in a garden, they're like in very much this thing. And so, you know, they're singing and they're having a party, you know, and so they go like, they'll say like, what are we doing? The guy goes like, Kali, fake book, you know, page 58, Ma Kali Banda. What are we doing? Like, Gorn Nitai. Oh, turn the page. They do, you know, they're professionals. They're professional musicians. And they are damn good. You can't just go, that's Maya, it's no good. You know, they're good. Just admit it. They're good. They're the best thing you ever heard, but, you know, it's problematic. But don't be in denial. They're good. Don't be afraid to admit, yeah, they're really good. When I met the daughter, one of my friends married a Thai woman, and I didn't know it, but going to India, and the girl sitting next to me is his daughter. I've never met her. She does, and she sees me, and I see that she has like kantimala, and she's half Thai, she looks interesting, and somebody like, oh, what's your name? And she says her name, and I go, oh, did your parents give? It's like a spiritual name, so and so, Devi Dasi. I said, oh, did your parents give that name? And her father's like a famous devotee, and she goes, I'm so and so's daughter. And I went, oh, all right, he's a friend of mine, an old friend of mine. Nice to meet you. And she knows people have mixed feelings about her father, but he's a very famous devotee in the ISKCON world, So, but I like him. He's an old friend, very inspired me many times, and loves slokas and singing the songs of Bhaktivinod Thakur. And so I said, what are you doing? She said, well, I go to school in Mayapur. She looks like she is in her late teens. And I study art. And I said, what kind of art? This is so funny. I go, oh, what kind of art do you do? And she goes, mostly Krishna stuff. And I understand, like, she may feel, maybe she doesn't, but like she might feel guilty about just doing some regular art because, you're supposed to, but it doesn't work like that, because then it was like Krishna you'd be the subject, he'd be the object, and he's appearing at your whim when it's supposed to be the inverse. So Saraswati Thakur gets a piece of Charitamritam floating on the river, and it says, sadhu sangha, that verse. But it's saying, out of all these 64 principles, these 5 are the panchanga. I always like I told Parmana, those 4 columns we have in Chintamani 5 represent panchanga. Sadhu sangha, nam sankirtan, bhagavat shravan, murti pratishta, and dham maturabhas, live in a holy place. So we say these are the holy places where, na tishtami vaikunte yoginam hridayena cha, yatra tishtami yatra gayanti madbhakta, wherever my devotee, I'm there. So that's our extension of holy place. And murti pratishta, establish the deities as they will do in Vila Govinda. Sri Sri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Gopinath Giridhari Jiu. 5G. Okay, I said it. I said I wasn't going to say it because then there'll be 1,000 things. But it's Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Gopinath Giridhari. 5G. Internet, go wild. But so then he realizes, oh, that, and if you look Gaudiya Math logo, is those 5, like, this is what Gaudiya Math does. Like Gurudev made the logo, Saraswati Math, Gaudiya Math logo says, these are the 5, and then it shows the printing press. It's really cool, actually. So he does that and comes out, goes to Calcutta. No, on the disappearance of Babaji Maharaj, he's making way across the Ganga, and who will become Tirtha Maharaj, Bhakti Vilas Tirtha, Kunja Babu, and Saki Charan. They're coming over on a boat to deliver the news that Babaji Maharaj has left the world. Whereas Saraswati Thakur saw him as Gaurkishordas Babaji, Kunja Babu, Tirtha Maharaj, like in an iconic surrogate sense. And then he meets him. And people question his managing methods and funds and money and all these things, and they wanted to complain to Saraswati Thakur about him, and they knew he wouldn't take them seriously, so they got Guru Maharaj to do it for them. And when he voiced their complaints, Saraswati Thakur expressed his disappointment with Guru Maharaj. He said, I could expect this from the others, but not from you. And that killed Guru Maharaj, like that Saraswati Thakur was a little disappointed. He said, I am prepared to throw money in the Ganga if it's necessary for the service of Mahaprabhu. And so what if he's taking some money for his family, blah, blah. He goes, I can't hire a man like that. And he said, I don't need any of you. You can all leave. I don't need a bunch of bead counters. He said, I need an audience. And he gets me an audience. You could all leave and it wouldn't matter. I only need him. So I'm not going to get rid of him. If people can't handle it, they can go. Like Gurudev too, is like, if you can't handle it, then you go. But they're with me. So Guru Maharaj is really naturally upset. Like, God, they like, what's the word? Hoodwinked. There's another word. Duped. Like Charles Brahman, like, and really it's important. And see, like, okay, I got, So months are going by. See, this stuff hangs in the heart of Guru Maharaj, like, shh, And then they're in, and Saraswati Thakur, the beauty is all, he doesn't know everything he's going to say at every moment. It's live, it's real. And he may say something in the spur of the moment and maybe think about it more and want to say another thing at another time. Like, it's real. The Guru's not a machine or Google. So 6 months later, they're in Madras and he's looking at proofs of books and he calls Guru Maharaj over and he goes, here's the answer. Because what he said at the time was a little, like, you're gonna all leave. I just need him. I don't need, you bead counters sitting, oh, you're doing your sadhana. We're at war. Kirtan means war, totalitarian war against illusion. In the war, I need soldiers, fighters, people willing to die for this. Not like, oh, I can't do that right. I need to finish my rounds. I don't need that. Like Gurudev said about that, like, and when you enter Calcutta airport, when you descend the escalator, and my joke is an escalator an escalator when it's going down? Anyway, food for thought, junk food for thought. But so, and there's a statue of Netaji Subhas Bose, and his famous saying was, give me your blood and I'll give you freedom. And Gurudev is saying, give me your blood and I'll give you devotion. That's what Gurudev said about Guru Maharaj. Give me your blood and I'll give you devotion. You're going to screw up freedom. Yeah, freedom. We all want it. I like it too. But he's saying, give me your blood, I'll give you freedom. Gurudev said, Guru Maharaj's slogan, give me your blood and I'll give you freedom, Krishna, devotion. All of those things, actually. Raga Bhakti means freedom. Devotion that's totally free form. That's why Rupa Goswami said, whatever described up to this point is sequential and step by step by step. He said, now I'm going to talk about Raga Bhaktas. There's no rhyme or reason. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to tell you about different ones and like stuff they do. It's that free. It's that beautiful. There aren't two that are identical. So he said, that's what I'm doing. I'm just going to tell you about them and things they do or said or what they happen, and then you'll get the picture. It's very beautiful. He said, everything up to this point, you can describe step by step. Now we've reached that. I'll just tell you stories about them and see how they land in your heart. So Saraswati Thakur, here's the answer to your question. It's that swapada mulam bhajatam priyasya slok, where it's saying, and Guru Maharaj's example, if a policeman kills someone in the line of duty, and again, internet, it doesn't mean that. It's just an example. He's not punished. If a soldier in a time of war. And hey, internet, it's not that. He's not punished because he's serving his country. You understand. The killing is there, but there's no culpability. So he's saying, when someone is a surrendered soul, these things are meaningless. There's no pollution. Even when on the witness stand in the aftermath of Gaudiya Math, when they got Sridhar Maharaj to admit that he lied and cheated in Gaudiya Math, and Vasudev's team said to him, "We've got him." And Vasudev said, no. He did that for Prabhupada, we worship that. He lied for Prabhupada, we worship that. He cheated for Prabhupada, we worship that. We got to get him on something else, but not on that. These men were Vaishnavas like you've never seen before, or you might have seen a few, but not many. Sudurlabha Bhagavata Hiloke. So Saraswati Thakur found Sri Gaudiya Math and says, I was alone in the jungle of Mayapur, and I've got 500 men who say what I say. Right? And he's Vilasatu Hridi Nityam Bhaktisiddhanta Vani. Guru says, may his divine voice play forever within our hearts. He's telling how you have to preach Krishna consciousness, fight the war against Maya, and take this to Markina Lok, especially America, and then go to the rest of the world. So His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivinod Swami Prabhupad, fulfills that order. He told it to many, but he fulfilled the order, and with the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. All the credit goes to him and his disciples. Bhaktivinod Thakur, Saraswati, they're dancing in the upper world. Then Prabhupada withdrew from this world and said, when the need to consult higher authority in my absence, you go to Sridhar Maharaj. And through Srila Guru Maharaj, we came to understand the wealth that Prabhupada gave us. We were like orphans. So Guru said, like orphan children. You know, what is that, Lemony Snicket's movie? You know, with Jim Carrey and the two kids? Like it's like Saraswati Thakur, the mind's an evil guardian. There's always these two kids, they're too young, and they have an inheritance, and you have an evil guardian who's trying to bilk you, like take all of it from you, who's in charge of that. So Guru said, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, gave the wealth of Bhaktivinod Thakur and all of this, the Krishna consciousness movement in the world, but we're like those orphan children. We don't know. Like, you know, your father's a billionaire? What's a billion? Well, it's more than 10. You know, so like that, then someone comes along and starts revealing the wealth. Well, here's some diamonds, here's like, so Srila Guru Maharaj, Saraswati Thakur says, although I may leave the world, one man remains behind me, can represent me fully. That is Sridhar Maharaj. Sri Guranamatam, Rupa Viditam, Rupagvajainadritam, Rupadye Paribesitam, Raghu Ganayashwaditam Sevitam, Jivadye Avarakshitam, Shuka Shiva Brahma Samanitam, Sri Radha Padasevanamritam Aho Tadatumisho Bhavan. And he says, what Mahaprabhu came down, only Swarup Damodar knows fully. It's worshipped by Sanatan, distributed by Rup and his followers, relished by Raghunath and Krishnadas, and extended from there. Jiva and Baladeva are protecting it. Brahma, Shiva, Uddhava, Brahma, Shiva, Suk, Uddhava, they aspire for a drop of this divine substance. What is it? Sri Radha Padasevanamritam Aho Tadatum Misho Bhavan. Oh, Bhaktivinod Thakur, this is your gift to the world in the form of the Krishna consciousness movement, is the service, the nectarine service of the holy lotus feet of Srimati Radharani, Radha Dasyam. And when Saraswati Thakur said that, he said, who wrote this? He said, Sridhar Maharaj. No, Sridhar Maharaj has not written this. Bhaktivinod Thakur has written this through him. Now, although soon I will leave the world, at least one man remains behind, who can represent me fully and properly, and that man is Sridhar Maharaj. So what does Prabhupada say? After me, when you need to consult with higher authority, you go to Srila Maharaj. So nothing could make me happier than to glorify all these great Vaishnavas on the appearance day of His Divine Grace, Om Vishnupad, Paramahansa Thakur, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Bhagavan Srila Saraswati Thakur, Ki Jai. And I have to conclude, you can continue. You like to speak something or others, but I am exhausted and I have some initiation to do. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada. Right, so you can handle the rest. Vijay can say something, Paramananda, others. Yeah, people online, do that. Vijay.
No, we are not saying he does not possess enough knowledge to express what our mind is. Say a couple of words. He's saying something after doing something. Goswami Maharaj, they mentioned some already.
Saraswati Thakur on this day. And numerous times we heard directly from Srila Govinda Maharaj, his glories, beautiful stories. So we can remember some of the stories. Because Vaishnavas don't do anything whimsically. Everything they do have a very deep meaning. So Srila Gurudev expressed that in a very early age, Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur observing the qualifications and devotion of his son, Srila Saraswati Thakur. And at that time, he already received the title, Bhakti, what was that? Siddhanta, I think Siddhanta Saraswati. There was a big gathering of the Pandits, and he was very learned in astrology. So it was maybe a whole continent gathering of the Pandits, headed by one great Pandit. And they challenged him. So he answered the challenge. And he answered the challenge in such a way that the defeat was so devastating to the Pandits. And it wasn't just an astrological discussion, it was also based on bhakti. That Srila Govinda Maharaj described, the chief Pandit who was presiding over the assembly, couldn't hold it anymore, let's just say. Needed to answer natural causes because of that impact that they had on him. So once Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur received another challenge from Smarta Samaj, the association of the Smarta Brahmanas, traditional Brahmanas of India. And at that time he is unwell, so he sends his son to answer that challenge. And he goes to one town near Kolkatta, and there's a gathering of 3,000 Pandits. And then already when he arrives, they're polarized, half of them accepting that the Brahmins are superior, another half trying to convince the others that Vaishnavas are superior. So young Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he starts speaking on that subject. In the first 2 days, he speaks about the Brahmin glories. He recites verse after verse after verse after verse. So remember, whatever Acharya is saying must be confirmed by the scriptures. And they're all appreciating that, they're Pandits. They say, yes, yes, and they're so happy. In fact, they're hearing more verses they could have conceived of, glorifying the position of the Brahmanas in society. So they're extremely happy. And then on the third day, he's making a revolutionary statement. He is saying, but what Brahmanas can help you to achieve, what they can achieve, millions and billions of lifetimes can be achieved by Vaishnavara Padaduli, a particle of a drop of a water touched Vaishnava's feet, or a particle of dust touched Vaishnava's feet. And then there was a huge uproar. And Srila Gaudiya Maharaj saying, oh, so many processes happen. And then one smart person, he brings a pot, a basin, and the water. And he pours the water on the lotus feet of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and distributes it over and takes him away from this samaj. And from that meeting, a wonderful book appeared. It's called Vaishnavas and Brahmanas, one of the first publications of Srila Saraswati Thakur. Then later on, Srila Goswami Maharaj just told us how straight he was. They say his preaching was like hammer, lion guru, Singha guru. That was his title. Hammering the truth, not sugarcoating anything, saying straight, directly. And that kind of nature we can observe from very beginning. And once Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur, he was a magistrate of Puri, and as magistrate of Puri, he would accept so many dignitaries and Babajis and sadhus, the saints, and the officials would come to see him. So there was this Ramcharan Babaji, who was known not just Sahaja, but also Mayavadi. Sadhu. But Bhaktivinod Thakur is offering respect to everybody. So they're having a conversation. And then young Saraswati Thakur, he comes after taking bath. And then usually he would come and offer his obeisances to his father. It's a tradition. But then when he enters and he sees father engaged in conversation with Ram Charan Babaji Maharaj, he's offering his dandavats from afar. And that was very peculiar for the Babaji. So why is he offering from such a distance? And immediately Bhaktivinod Thakur, again, without sugarcoating, saying, oh, don't worry about it. He's taking a vow. What kind of vow he's taking? Oh, he wouldn't come close to a Sahaja or a Mayavadi. That's why he's, and you are a Sahaja and Mayavadi, so he's offering these obeisances from the distance. And something similar happened when he was already at that time, Sri Chaitanya Math in Mayapur was established following a request of Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur. So he is there meeting with another person who is also a non-Sahaja person, but he's trying to uplift everyone without discrimination. And again, he's establishing the principles of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the principles of bhakti, devotion, without bending them. So he's there having a conversation, and then the bhoga was just offered to Mahaprabhu's deity. And then a servant comes in with the prasadam plate. Just a menial servant, maybe a cleaner lady. She brings prasadam to Saraswati Thakur, puts in the front of him, and then leaves. And that Babaji, who is a very exalted Brahmin from exalted Brahmin family, he observes, maybe not Babaji, maybe Pandit, that was a Pandit. He observes, is this lady from a very low class? She looks like she's from low class. And Saraswati Thakur answers, yes, she is from the lowest class possible. And then he's saying, then are you going to accept food that she just offered to you? How is that possible? Because by tradition, anything touched by a low-class person, a chandal, becomes contaminated. And then Saraswati Thakur smiles and he says, not just from her I will accept Mahaprabhu's Mahaprasad. Even if you offer me that plate, even from you I will accept that. It was always very non-compromising preaching. Anyhow, Bhaktilalita, how about you say something? And then Vijay will speak in Russian.
Okay.
Продолжайте.
I always I love some words spoken by Saraswati Thakur to his disciples and follower group. And he pleaded with his assembly that everything that you have, see it as ingredients for Krishna's service. And he was addressing mostly householder devotees. And your wife, see her as a Braja Gopi. She is in the group of Radharani, and not for your enjoyment. That she is a servitor of Krishna in your care for some time, but she is Krishna's property and not for your sense gratification. And your children, your sons, your daughters, See them as members of the group of Bala Gopal, of small Krishna. They are his friends, his servitors, and not for your sense gratification or for your convenience. When you're old, you will depend on them. They are Bala Gopal's servants and friends. And all the ingredients in your home, all your paraphernalia, your home itself, it's all meant for Krishna's seva. And he said, in this way, if you can have this mentality and understanding in this angle of vision, this positive spiritual angle of vision, Goloka Vrindavan will descend in your home. Everything, Goloka itself will come and descend in your home with that mentality. So I always, just once I read those words of Saraswati Thakur, I just etched them in my mind and in my heart, and always love to remember those words and see what a revolution it is. Just this proper adjustment, this angle of vision and understanding from absolute point of view as a servitor, not an enjoyer, that what revolution can take place within the mind, the heart, just by proper angle of vision. So such wonderful words and wonderful concepts that are so real, so tangible, spoken by Srila Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada.
Yukta Vairagya, his principle to be established.
Ну вот все здесь вспоминают о возрасте, о старости. Вот я, например, не боюсь этого возраста и старости. Я все время думаю о преданности Гурудева, и все с каждым днем, все ближе и ближе, наверное, моя будет встреча с ним. Поэтому самый хороший возраст. Мы уже многое прошли, многое понимаем, многое сделали за этот период. И думаю, что и дальше надо служить так с преданностью. И несмотря ни на какие усталости, идти вот прямо по линии учения наших учителей. Я думаю, что все те, кто здесь присутствует, поймут мои слова. Я призываю к искреннему служению, бескорыстному служению, веру, чтобы вот это все вам помогало идти, а не отрицало. Я вот, находясь здесь какой-то период, встречаю многих наших преданных и пытаюсь им помочь и разгадать, какие же проблемы у вас, друзья мои, здесь. Вроде бы все красиво, все хорошо, а проблемы-то присутствуют. Проблемы будут присутствовать везде, даже если вы будете в раю. Все проблемы зависят от того, от вашего понятия, насколько вы понимаете свое истинное служение и насколько вы хотите предаться. Вот я призываю подумать об этом и искренне служить. И каждый может принести свою лепту, и все будет прекрасно и замечательно. Вот мы как раз вчера посмотрели один фильм. Я так и не услышал таких достаточных ответов. Я думаю, что фильм глубокий. Это, можно сказать, материальный уровень. Фильм называется «Последнее воскресенье». Последние дни нашего русского известного писателя Льва Толстого. И его весь путь, его любовь, его дети. У него тоже было 13 детей. Только одна дочь пошла по его пути, так же, как у Бхакти Такура. Бхактивинод Такура там двое, но пошел один Бхактисиддханта Saraswati. Так что вот, понимаете, чтобы нас не преследовало какие трудности, нужно идти вперед, не страшась никакой усталости. И не придумывать себе болезни, и не придумывать себе режимы, и не придумывать себе какие-то отговорки. Нужно идти вперед, несмотря ни на возраст, ни на свое положение. Вперед и только вперед. Тогда будет вам интересно служить и дальше. Вот я бы хотел пожелать всем в этот прекрасный день, торжественный день,
Later. You're the MC.
So we have a little bit of time. Maybe we're ready for Guru Puja? Okay, we can now close the deity curtains and do Guru Puja for Saraswati Thakur.
Srila Prabhupada, Avadhut.